Alright, so you have a topic. You did your interest inventory last week, and hopefully by now you have some feedback from your topic. Please, please, please go look at that feedback. Everybody's got feedback. Make sure you go look at that written feedback and not just the grade before you start writing your research proposal. I've had students get into real trouble because they haven't taken a look and they needed some tweaking with their topic, and then they didn't look at that feedback, and then they got into the research proposal and things kind of devolved from there. So make sure you do that first. Then you can start getting into your research proposal. So these are the guidelines for the research proposal. This is on Moodle for you. Before you begin this, not only do you have to look at your feedback from your topic, but you should really have done some research. So you should have dived into your research before you start writing this. If you haven't, now's the time. So read these guidelines, watch this video, do some research, and then write the proposal. You want to make sure you're very prepared before starting to write this. If you're prepared, this should be an easy assignment. If you're not prepared, this could get kind of challenging. So make sure you're prepared. So you've got your topic, you have a working thesis from your interest inventory from that last part. This proposal should be relatively short. So it should be double-spaced in proper MLA format and no more than 3 pages. Your 4th page will be a bibliography works cited. So this is very straightforward. I'm just asking you to kind of chunk up this assignment. You don't have to necessarily write it in essay form, so it doesn't have to have an intro and a body and a conclusion. You can just kind of write paragraphs or sections to go with these firsts, nexts, thens. You can even chunk it up into the bullets if you want, but you have to write in full sentences, in full paragraphs, all that stuff. Grammar, punctuation, and sentence structure, all that stuff does count. So does MLA format in terms of essay format and in terms of works cited format. So be aware of that. So when I say do your research, you need to make sure you've done some open-ended inquiry. That's what this first part is all about. So you can't have an opinion about something until you've got the whole story, right? That's kind of how it works. So you can't just do the research that fits in with whatever your original opinion was. You need to make sure that your original opinion actually reflects the research that's available out there. So you need to look at all sides. What do all sides say about the topic? What's all the information available out there? Of course, you can't find every single research or piece of research, but you should try to get a good sampling of all sides, the history and the background, how it's evolved. You need to be able to explain why it's relevant now. You need to be able to find and articulate the most common or current thinking about the topic. You need to kind of know which groups or people are on which side. And then all of that together, once you've figured all that out, then you can either reaffirm or change or tweak your opinion and decide why are you on the side that you're on. So sometimes people go into this with an idea of what their opinion is and they change it. That's great. Sometimes people go into this and realize that their opinion has not changed. That's also fine. As long as it's informed, whether your opinion changes or not, or needs a little tweak or not, doesn't matter, as long as you're coming in and you can explain why you're on the side you're on because you know all the information to be had. So that's first. So give me some of that. This is probably going to be pretty long. This is probably going to be close-ish to 3/4 of a page or 1 page of information. Then I need to know very briefly, maybe in a paragraph, what's your research strategy? So, first of all, where are you looking? What are you finding? How are you going to use it? And also I want to know, what are you not finding? And where else are you going to look? So, if you're finding a lot of good information from scholarly journals that supports your point, but you're not finding a lot of information for counterpoints, that's kind of the stuff I need to know. After that, these can just be bullets, but remember, full sentences, full paragraphs. What's your working thesis statement? It should be tweaked a little bit from your interest inventory. You've got more information now, so you can make it more robust, more focused, more narrow, closer to what you might put in your essay. What do you intend to prove? That be as specific as possible with that. Who's your target audience and why? So this one has to be specific too. You need to decide who's the very best audience for this information. So for example, if I were writing about, if I were writing an education thing, if I were writing about tuition, let's say I was writing about making tuition free for state community colleges. There would be a very different focus to my paper if I were targeting legislators than if I were targeting students. So you have to make sure that your target audience is clear and you keep them in mind at all time. And then, what is your purpose for writing the paper? Do you just want to broach the topic and say, here is a possibility? Do you actually want to change people's minds? Do you want to call people to action? Do you want to actually get them to act? Think about that, because that will also shape your paper. And then finally, I want to know how your paper is going to look. Again, this could be pretty short, probably just a quick paragraph. But how do you plan to build this thing so that it's most successful with your audience and successful in doing your purpose? So be as specific as possible with this. Give me an idea of what your points might be. Don't just say it's going to have an introduction and then a thesis, and then it'll have a bunch of body paragraphs and probably 2 paragraphs of counter-argument. I don't want to know that generally. I want to know a little bit more specifically. You're not tied to this, but it will help you as you kind of envision what you're doing. Then the last page of your proposal, that 4th page, should be a bibliography. This is an MLA bibliography, so make sure that it's double-spaced, alphabetized. Make sure you use proper MLA format for your entries, all of that stuff. Your textbook is your MLA handbook, so make sure you use that. I will take points off if there are problems with your MLA format. So, the purpose of this assignment is to really get you jump-started thinking about how to turn an idea into an actual paper. The next checkstop assignment is your annotated bibliography. So this is kind of the middle point in between there. And once again, this is to help you focus and hone your research and where you're kind of headed with this whole project. So this is an important one, even though it doesn't seem like a huge points assignment. It can really help you dive into the next big parts, and the next parts are very big. So take this seriously. Let me know if you have any questions. Hit me up on Remind or email. And good luck with this one. Let me know if you have any problems. Otherwise, see you next week.